Hi there, painter friends. I want to tell you about a challenge that another artist friend had told me about. So all winter, I'm kind of the cold weather wimp. And this year, I decided I was going to change that. And so she said what she takes out with her is just a book and two pens, and that's it. So let me toggle down with the webcam and show you what you can do really easily outside and still get some plein air time in, even when it's wicked cold and you think you just can't take it anymore. So I've found a way, and it has been liberating. It's really fun if you're missing getting outside. Let me show you what you can do. All right, let's see, webcam. Here we go. Let's drop this down a little, get this out of the way. So I've got my little Stillman and Burn. It is the, let's see if you can see that on the camera, the beta series. So it's a multimedia paper. It's not watercolor paper and it's not 100% cotton, but it does have really nice thick pages and a pretty decent, it's not hot press and it's not cold press. It's this multimedia surface. So it handles ink really nicely. You know, if you want to use your microns or a fountain pen, it doesn't bump it all up like sometimes cold press can. So what I started doing and what she recommended is, you know, take your sketchbook, your two pens, and I've been taking a 005 and a 02 of these microns, and they, you know, don't have any problem with the cold. And so when you start out, you go out there and you've got your book and your pens, and you just make an ink line sketch. That's it. You make your sketch, and if it's 32 degrees and you're freezing, you're done in about 15 minutes. It doesn't take long to do a quick little sketch like this. This one I had to do in the car because, you know, I thought it was going to be all nice and warm, you know, decent because the sun was out and it was up over freezing, but down on the water, it's still really cold. So what I like to do is get home and paint it right away so that I can remember what I saw. And a lot of times that's what I've been trying to do. So back in December, this is when I started this, trying to do this outside. I'm standing in the snow, so I don't bring a chair to sit down in. I just bring this book and the pens, and I'm standing up holding this in one hand, got my pen in the other hand, um, and that's it. And I've got these little half mitt gloves on so my fingers can stick out and I can still hold stuff. And then I'll do the painting and then any lettering at home. But I will write down, you know, I don't bring any pencils with me, but so I'll write down the date and the temperature and the time, so I know when it was. On this day, it actually got up to 45, and that's on January 22nd. 45 degrees is really unheard of in January here in Connecticut. But I was able to get these cute little drawings in, and you know, I was wanting to do a couple of little vignettes, and I was thinking, you know, I would love some little squared off boxes. So I call them my cell phone pictures. So I would just trace around here, slide it over, trace that in. You can see little bumps on this where the plugs of the phone are. Did the same thing and same thing up here. And this was all on the same day, being nice and warm. It was sunshiny, no wind. That's the key. If it's, you know, really windy outside, I'm going home. I picked up some ginkgo leaves from this tree that's in this park that I really like. And then I made a note about, I had worn this cute little Irish wool cap, and it was, you know, it didn't cover my ears. My ears were freezing. So I just made a note to myself, wear my woolly cap next time. It's a whole lot warmer. So here's another snowy scene. It was really gray and damp and cold that day. That was also January. I didn't write the date down. Of course, then by the time I got back to it, I'd forgotten, you know, was that Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever day it was. But I just did the sketch there, and then when I came home, I did, you know, put the paint in, and I made some editing. You know, I was showing this to my class and talking about how I edit my scene. You know, there's actually a lot more deciduous trees there, and I decided I only want a couple because I really wanted to capture the cedar trees, which I really love seeing cedars against snow. So pretty. And then the stone wall. I really like all these stone walls in Connecticut. They're really fascinating to me. This one is still not quite finished. It was 36 degrees that day. We still had a lot of snow on the ground, and this part of this little cove was frozen. So it was like a big slab of um, there was, there was water out here, but then this part was all like a big slab of ice. So when I painted this blue, I came in and then I gave it a little spritz of water. Like I held it like a foot up and then just spritzed it so it kind of disturbed the paint just a little bit. And then I dropped in some big salt granules to kind of spark it up there, and flecked it away. That, salt just adds a little bit of texture into your surface once it kind of pulls all that moisture in and ends up making these sparkly marks. And the ferry was coming in. There's Ledge Light Lighthouse. So I need to finish in putting in some of the little bit of color, but remembering where the snow was before, that memory's gone. On the same day that I did this, I walked just a little further out on Waterford Beach here in Connecticut. And there's this, at the end of the beach, there's this series of boulders. It's this big rock ledge. And then there's cedars that grow up on that. And I've always been attracted to that. And especially in the winter, the shoreline comes up and then there's snow on the beach. So I found that fascinating. So I'm going to, I can't wait to get this painted. This was February 4th and it was 36 degrees. And, it didn't feel too bad. When there's no wind, it makes a huge difference. So on Wednesday of this week, I went down to another park near us, Watch Rock Park, and there was, some wind coming off the water, and that really gets cold. So I kept it super quick, super small. You can do a little sketch like this in not very much time. Gosh, 10 minutes and you're out of there. And, just by the time your hands are feeling really miserable. So the nice thing about this little Stillman and Burn book, it does lay pretty flat. Once you've got your book open, and I always bring a couple of bulldog clips with me just so that the wind isn't flapping around. It's much easier to carry. And then I just stick this big fat rubber band on my arm, and that's it. That is like super quick plein air traveling light. It keeps you in that sketching habit, and when you go in and sketch with a pen and instead of a pencil, it forces you to make some decisions. And if there's some errors, where you change your mind and think, oh well, wait a minute, that land formation is really a little bit different, you can paint over it. And the ink lines are just it's just part of it. So don't let perfection wig you out and keep you from doing something really fun. So let me pop back up here. So I'm hoping that, you'll find that inspiring, and I hope I can challenge you to, even if you've got some cold weather and it's not too horrible, that you can get out and enjoy it. Find yourself a lightweight sketchbook so you don't have, you don't want to weigh yourself down. I am totally into this traveling light with watercolor. I love it. So this has been really liberating for me this winter because I miss getting outside. And when I do get to get outside, it's exhilarating. So now I'm like, okay, winter, bring it on. I'm ready. So this has been Roxanne Steed. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you find that helpful. And I hope you'll take your stuff outside and get in some fun sketches. Happy painting, you guys. We'll see ya.